Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Tuesday, October 20th, 2020. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's two NFL games. We had a COVID makeup game and then the actual Monday night game. World Series, we'll preview tonight's game one and make a pick. Top 10 Doc Emrick moments from his illustrious career. Dancing with the Stars. We'll talk about who got voted off and all the scores of the performances. And my best bet of the day. Okay, we'll start with the NFL. We had two games yesterday, as I mentioned at the top. First game, Chiefs over the Bills, 26-17. Chiefs are 5-1, Bills are 4-2. Patrick Mahomes, 21 of 26, 225 yards and 2 touchdowns. Josh Allen, a step back these last couple weeks, 14 of 27, 122 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, look at this. 26 carries for 161 yards and 4 receptions for 8 yards. He was absolutely brilliant in this game last night. Cardinals over the Cowboys 38-10. Kyler Murray is now 7-0 lifetime at AT&T Stadium. 5-0 as a high school player. Won a game in college era, which was the Big 12 title game. And then 1-0 as a professional. Cardinals are 4-2. Dallas is 2-4. Kyler Murray, 9 of 24, 188 yards, 2 touchdowns, and on the ground, 10 carries for 74 yards and the 16-yard rushing touchdown. Andy Dalton went 34 of 54, 266 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. He looked like the Andy Dalton that would always falter in big games, and Andy Dalton in primetime, we know not to bet on Andy Dalton in primetime. And we were reminded of that yesterday. And when the clock is in the 1 o'clock window, he does awesome. Or in the 4 o'clock window. But in primetime, he sucks. And that was one of the big reasons why the Cardinals won yesterday. Although the Cowboy defense was bad as predicted. But I kind of forgot about the Dalton and primetime thing. That's something I really should have thought about in picking this game, but I took the Cardinals due to that they're just due for a big game and Kyler, and I thought that he'd exploit the Dallas defense, but Dallas offense was just abysmal last night. Now we'll do World Series. Game 1 tonight between the Rays and the Dodgers. Tyler Glasnow against Clayton Kershaw. It's going to be a really fun game. And then Game 2's tomorrow. And then we're off on Thursday due to the presidential debate. Game 3 Friday. Game 4 Saturday. Game 5 Sunday. Break on Monday. And then Tuesday and Wednesday would be Games 6 and 7 if necessary. I predicted on the show Rays in 7 the other day. So the Dodgers tonight are minus 182. The Rays are plus 155. Rays run line plus 1.5 is minus 139. Dodgers run line minus 1.5 is plus 117. Total 7.5 overs on even money. The under is plus 1 or minus 118. I'm taking the Rays plus 155. We all know Kershaw, shaky history in big games. This should be a really, really entertaining game. And I really like Tampa. And I think that they'll get it done tonight. So give me the Tampa Bay Rays plus 155 for tonight against the Los Angeles Dodgers. I think that obviously Kershaw's history in big games. He has a bad back. Tyler Glasnow has been very good in the playoffs, a ton of strikeouts, and the Dodgers are a team that likes to strike out a lot. The Rays strike out a lot too, but the Dodgers strike out a lot. Cody Bellinger and Justin Turner, Those guys are home run hitters, but they also strike out a lot. Mookie Betts, to me, is a guy that I think will have a good series for the Dodgers. But yeah, I think Glasnow could take advantage of the strikeout-prone Dodger guys like Bellinger and Chris Taylor, Kike Hernandez, a bunch of these free swingers, Jock Peterson. And Justin Turner isn't really a homer strikeout guy, but sometimes he is. But those four I just mentioned, and Max Muncy, so that's five guys I really think Glasnow is going to have success against tonight. Say Glasnow goes 6, and then you can do Nick Anderson for 2 and Diego Castillo for 1 and save the rest of your good guys for another day. And if you're the Dodgers, you go Kershaw for 6. And if you have the lead, then you do Urias if he's available. If not Urias, then you go to Brusdar Graterol. And then you could potentially go to Dylan Floro if he has something, or take a chance with Blake Treinen. Kenley Jansen was solid last week, but I wouldn't trust him for the life of me in this spot either. So I'm going to be interested to see how the Dodgers line up their bullpen today and for this series. Now I'm going to do my top 10 Doc Emrick moments. There's a lot of great moments that he's called, and these are the moments that just stuck out to me from Doc throughout his luxurious career. Number 10, Sidney Crosby's goal in the Winter Classic against the Buffalo Sabres. I want to say this was the first Winter Classic back in 2000. I want to say 2008 in a shootout against Buffalo. Yeah, 2008. And his call was just marvelous on that. 9th, Henrik Lundqvist save Winter Classic. There was a big penalty shot for the Flyers. And he made on Danny Breery in the 2012 Winter Classic against the Flyers in Philadelphia at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia. So that was just a great save by Hank, and it saved the Rangers in that game. Number 8, 2013 Stanley Cup Finals, Chicago Blackhawks comeback in Game 6. It was just wonderful. The tying goal and then the winning goal. And he was just really fired up in this comeback. Patrick Kane was the series MVP, but Boston took a 2-1 lead on a goal by Milan Lucic, and then Brian Bickle ties it with just over a minute to go. And then David Bullen gives them the lead with 59 seconds left. And that was just a crazy turn of events for the Blackhawks and the Bruins. And that was really the Bruins' best shot to win a Stanley Cup with the core that they have and then had. And then other than the one against the Canucks. But yeah, it was just looked back as a missed opportunity for Boston and an opportunity that the Blackhawks took advantage of. Number 7, Derek Stepan overtime goal to send the Rangers to the Eastern Final. It was marvelous. Overtime, Game 7. I was in the building for this game, as I've mentioned several times on the podcast with my guests. And Derek Stepan picks up the loose puck and shoots it in the net past Braden Holtby, and the Rangers advanced to the Eastern Conference Final. Number 6, Adam Emrick overtime goal, 2012 versus the Rangers. New Jersey Devils, Game 6 overtime, 3-2 series lead. Rangers win the force of Game 7. Devils win, they go to the final. It was within the first, minute of overtime. Emrick finds the loose puck after Henrik Lundqvist makes a great save. And then Emrick puts it in the net. Devils go on to the Stanley Cup final. And it was Doc's signature call of, Emrick, it's over. And he was very excited, obviously, because he was the voice of the New Jersey Devils. He was obviously very excited for the Devils. And it was kind of crazy because that was the first season that he was just strictly doing NBC. So I'm sure he had a joy to call Marty Brodeur in the final one last time, although they lost in 6 to the Los Angeles Kings. Number 5, Henrik Lundqvist, brilliant save, 2014 Eastern Conference Final. Oh my goodness, this was one of the best saves of Hank's career. Game 6, 2014, he flat out robbed. And it was a complete robbery. And he just robbed the Canadiens of taking a 1-0 lead in the game. And obviously, I think this was the biggest save of the game. And I forget the player's name. He was a role player for the Canadiens. And it was a guy that they acquired at the deadline. And there was in a 0-0 game at the time. It doesn't say. Was it Thomas Plekanec? No, it wasn't Plekanec. I really am blanking on the player's name. Wasn't Brandon Gallagher? It was Danny Breery, I believe. Or is it Brandon Prust? It's either Danny Prairie or Brandon Prust that he flat out just robbed in that game. It was Thomas Vanek. That's who it was. I remember they acquired him at the deadline. He was a good pickup for them. And then Henrik Lundqvist just robbed him of the goal that put Montreal up 1-0. But no, a couple minutes later, Dominic Moore comes down and scores. Rest is history. Rangers defense locks him down. Hank locks him down. 1-0 Rangers as they went on to the Stanley Cup Final. Number 4, TJ Oshie shootout. Oh my goodness. TJ Oshie was just marvelous in the Olympics. And it was against Russia. He was just wonderful. He pretty much single-handedly won them that game. 5 shootout goals. It was a great moment for USA hockey in a big stage like the Olympics. The biggest stage in the world, if anything, other than the Stanley Cup Final. The Olympics is probably the second biggest stage in hockey in the world. Number 3, Patrick Kane, Game 6, overtime goal 2010 against the Flyers. So the Flyers rally back and tie the game late in Game 6. Either they win in Game 7 in Philadelphia or Blackhawks win, they win the Cup. Patrick Kane scored a goal from a weird angle, and it took Doc a second to realize that Patrick Kane had scored the Stanley Cup winning goal, and the Blackhawks were celebrating, and that was it. Number 2, Marc-Andre Fleury saved Game 7 against the Red Wings. Marc-Andre Fleury made a brilliant save in 2009 as the Red Wings nearly tied the game at the end there in Game 7 back in 2009. And it was just a marvelous save by Marc-Andre Fleury after a lot of people had doubted him in big games at the time. But he did it. And then Rob Scuderi blocked a couple of shots of Johan Franzen, and that really preserved the win for them as well. So that was just an unreal game as Detroit got the goal to make it a 1-goal game, and then Pittsburgh held on to get the win and the Stanley Cup, the first Stanley Cup in Sidney Crosby's career. And number 1, speaking of Sidney Crosby, the golden goal for Canada. 2010 gold medal game, overtime. Sidney Crosby scores off of, I want to say it was Ryan Miller, formerly of the Buffalo Sabres. Scores off of him, and Canada wound up winning the gold. And Doc's call on that was just marvelous. So those are my top 10 Doc Emrick moments throughout his illustrious career. Now I'm going to recap Dancing with the Stars from yesterday. It was the top 11. They obviously had to vote somebody off. We'll get to that later. All right, Johnny and Britt did a salsa dance to On the Floor by Jennifer Lopez and Pitbull, and they got a 22. Nev and Jenna did a jazz dance to Good Vibrations by Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. They got a 26. Monica and Val did a rumba dance to Have I Told You Lately by Rod Stewart and got a 27. Sky and Alan did a cha-cha-cha dance to Say So by Doja Cat and Nicki Minaj and got an 18. Vernon and Peta did a cha-cha-cha to Celebration by Kool and the Gang and got a 21. Nelly and Daniela did a Vanessa Waltz dance to Humble and Kind by Tim McGraw and got a 24. Janine and Brandon did a rumba dance to You Gotta Be by Desiree and got a 25. AJ and Cheryl did a samba dance to Mi Gente by J Balvin and Willie William and got a 27. Rochelle and Gleb did a contemporary dance to Stars by Grace Potter and the Nocturnals and got a 24. Caitlin and Artem did a samba to Sorry by Justin Bieber and got a 27. And Justina and Sasha did a Vanessa Waltz to She's Always a Woman by Billy Joel and got a 27. Judges vote the save. Howe voted the save Johnny and Britt. And Naba voted Vernon and Peta to be safe. And Tony Oli voted Johnny and Britt for the save. Who got voted off? Vernon and Peta. I really think that Sky and Allen should have been voted off, but that's just me. But that sucks for Vernon and Peta. Vernon Davis, obviously, the former tight end, and Peta Murgatroyd is one of the professional dancers. So that really stinks for them, and I'm looking forward to next week, which would be week 7 of the show already. Now my best bet of the day, brought to you by Sugar House. I think I gave it away earlier. Rays money line plus 155. I gave you the reasons. Kershaw, bad history in big games. Dave Roberts, still can't trust him. Kershaw, bad back. Dodgers have a lot of free swingers in their lineup that I think Tyler Glasnow can take advantage of, as he is a strikeout pitcher. And I think that the Rays bullpen, Nick Anderson most notably, will pitch better. So I'll be back tomorrow recapping Game 1 of the World Series, looking ahead to Game 2. I'll do my NFL Power Rankings tomorrow as well. Maybe another activity for you guys as well. And my best bet of the day. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.